Hey, hey, hey. Happy Tuesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, shockingly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard, everybody. Tonight is Tuesday, February 27th, 2024. This is live stream number 1025. If you're not overly familiar with the show, let me point out, super casual around here. We just hang out talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and I'll usually pontificate a little bit about the hobby. But we are certainly not engaged in any mental heavy lifting by any stretch of the imagination. We are not involved in rocket surgery or anything along those lines. Just having some fun. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, because this is a live show, there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you happen to be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours and you'd like to say howdy, maybe you've got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. Maybe there's even something that you would like to talk about after the news segment. Lay it on me. So first out the gate tonight is our good friend, the Madman. That's right, the Madman is with us. He is one of our chat moderators. And yes, he is correct. I'll get into that in just a minute. Viper Dave is with us. Roger Perdome. Sarah D has emerged from the shadows to say hello. She's another of our chat moderators. And Wild Hunter is also in the house. Always kind of curious. Wild Hunter says rocket surgery. So I get that from time to time. I'm trying to remember. It's from a movie. It's from a comedy. But I can't remember which one it's from. It's if I remember right, I think it's like kind of an 80s comedy. And it's a mashup of brain surgery and rocket scientist, right? Come on, this isn't brain surgery. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. So that's why I do the rocket surgery. Yes. Kevin R. Smith and Tessie Trekkie are also hanging out with us tonight. Yes, the reason why I'm late is we did have a tornado warning going off here in the Yorkville area. So we were kind of keeping an eye on the news. And I was just kind of watching to see when the storm front moved past and we were getting the all clear. The sirens actually went off twice. But we should be okay now. We should be all right. We do have storms tonight. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we don't get a power outage or anything like that during the stream. We'll find out. Yes, we will. All right, I'm going to jump on into the news because I've got quite a lot of it tonight. March is going to see the release of Evolution: Another World from Crow D Games. Here's the latest. Welcome to an alternate world of wondrous creatures where evolution went a different way. Here are mystical places of power, the sources, produce pure energy. Fascinating creatures consume and accumulate it to perform a marvelous transmutation. A fierce struggle ensues between those who seek to become a super being. We know a great deal about the evolution on Earth. It's an exciting story of various creatures acquiring defensive and offensive traits to adapt to the ever-changing environment. What we don't know is if there might be other worlds where completely different creatures dwell. Will the same laws of evolution apply there too? It's time to find out. Evolution: Another World is a card game in the beloved Evolution: The Origin of the Species series. In the game, you create animals and give them traits, so they survive and thrive in the chaotic world of wondrous creatures. The goal of the game is to give your creatures enough energy to transmute and transcend their state of existence. The first player to transmute 3 creatures wins the game. This is a fast-paced, easy-to-learn game with a solitaire mode included in the core game. Mechanically, it is inspired by Evolution: New World, but trades some complexity for more dynamic and light gameplay. This game is family-friendly because animals can't die or be eaten by predators. Competition is peaceful, but you can attack other players' creatures to gain energy. This game has a straightforward win condition. You don't need to count up victory points at the end of the game. Just simply transmute 3 of your creatures, and if you're the first, you win. Evolution: Another World is for 1 to 4 players, ages 11 and up. Plays in around 20 to 30 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $35 when it arrives next month. Yes. I like Evolution. I have not played any of these new iterations of Evolution, the ones that are not with North Star Games. But I do like the system. I think it's fun. I liked Oceans. Oceans was pretty nice. This looks pretty cool too, because this is a fantasy world. So you're going to have different traits that you'll be able to give your fantasy creatures. And the artwork looks pretty sharp as well. So there is that. Anthony Good and W. Forge, as well as Lord Cost 2000, have arrived in chat. Wild Hunter is asking, Crow D Games? It is. It is not Crowd Games. It is Crow D Games. I don't make up the rules. I just go with what it says. Also arriving in March is Epic Encounters Local Legends Owlbear. And I've got the details from Steamforged Games. Rumors tell of an owlbear too intelligent to be merely an animal and too deadly to be left alone. Could it be linked to the disappearance of a power-hungry druid years ago? Venture into an ancient Venture into an ancient glade. I started to say Vale, and then I'm like, oh no, it's not Vale, it's Glade. So you got Glaive, which is a weapon. Risk the wrath of the owlbear and find out for yourself. Legend has it the local owlbear might be linked to a certain infamous druid. Right now, though, you should probably be more concerned about it rampaging through town. This is designed to work with the Local Legends Tavern Kit, but is easily adaptable to any campaign. This encounter is 5e compatible, can be used with any fantasy role-playing game. All you got to do is add a GM. Epic Encounters Local Legends Owlbear arrives March 27th. It's going to carry an MSRP of $24.99. And that is one smashing-looking owlbear. It doesn't look huge. Looks like a pretty good size. Looks like just from the images, probably around 50, 55 millimeters. That's assuming that the druid is about 32, because that's kind of the standard now, is the 32 millimeter. If you missed the first look I did at the Savannah of the Knoll pack from Steamforged Games. Definitely check that out. They do some really nice sculpts. I actually have on the horizon an unboxing and first look at the Rage of the Knoll War Seeker, which is one big miniature, like this big. No joke. Very nice. Tesco Love is with us. Tesco says, owlbears are just cool. It's a scientific fact. I actually have a plush owlbear behind me. I don't know if you've noticed that before. I will grab it when we're done with the news. It is from, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the company that makes it. They have a line of D&D plush. I think they only currently have 4 creatures, though. So I do have the Displacer Beast, and I have the Owlbear. They also had a Beholder, which was pink, which I didn't really care for. And then I think there was one other. I can't recall what it was off the top of my head. All right, moving right along. We got some big news. Because out in PDF for Call of Cthulhu is the Arkham source book. And here's the skinny from my friends over at Chaosium Inc. On the streets of Arkham, the threat of the Cthulhu mythos is ever present. A quiet town in New England, home to the prestigious Miskatonic University, Arkham's underbelly hides criminals, speakeasies, and a witch-cursed history. Arkham is the definitive guide to the signature setting of Call of Cthulhu, a sandbox campaign setting for Call of Cthulhu. The history of Arkham and the Miskatonic University are included in this book, as well as details of 9 neighborhoods with over 290 locations described, new rules and skills for Arkham investigators, more than 80 fully detailed NPCs, including NPCs of famous characters from the Lovecraft tales. I noticed that when I was taking a quick peek at the PDF. There's also gossip and rumors to use as scenario seeds for original stories. There's street and neighborhood maps as well as floor plans of key locations. 2 Arkham City map posters, one for players and one marked with information for the keeper. It also has a poster-sized newspaper prop of the Arkham Advertiser. This is for mature readers, and it does contain mature themes. So that means it's intended for mature players. This supplement is part of the Arkham Unveiled line and is designed for use with both the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game and the Pulp Cthulhu supplement, both available separately. This 270-page hardcover will be arriving soon. I do not have a particular release date for the hardcover. It is going to carry an MSRP of $59.99. You'll get the PDF for free if you order it from Chaosium Inc. But the PDF alone is out right now over at DriveThruRPG for $29.99. As I mentioned, I have peeked into the PDF because I have had a review copy of the PDF for about a week and a half, maybe a little more than that. But I don't tend to really dive into PDFs I get for review purposes because I like to be surprised during the flip through, my page through. So I've kind of stayed away from really digging too deeply into this outside of simply drawing these images from the PDF to share with you so you get a much better idea of what the interior of Arkham looks like. And yes, there are reviews that are arriving already for it. People who do reviews just based on PDFs. And so far, it's getting some good reviews, everybody. Tessie Trekkie says, Baldur's Gate 3 has led to the druid in the online 5e they play in, always talking animals and befriending the owlbear cubs after we killed their parents. Wild Hunter says, yay, I want this. I'm going to buy this today. Well, do me a favor, stop by thegaminggang.com first, because I have a banner ad for Arkham. If you click on that and you purchase it, I will get a portion of that sale. It doesn't cost you anything more. So keep that in mind. Kathy Evans is with us. Wild Hunter says Arkham is the perfect setting for a Call of Cthulhu campaign. Keith Herber is usually pretty good. Now, my understanding is a lot of this content is from the original Arkham source book that came out. So it has been reworked. Of course, there is new stuff too. And that Arkham source book has been out of print for years. But keep in mind, some of this material has appeared previously. It's not all brand spanking new. Presentation, though, that is brand spanking new and looks very, very cool. Moving right along, arriving in time for Gen Con 2024 is the second edition of Star Trek Adventures. And here's the scoop from Modiphius Entertainment. During its 7-year voyage, Star Trek Adventures has brought the intrepid explorers, alien worlds, and futuristic technology of the Star Trek universe to the tabletop in immersive and faithful detail. Now, the brand new second edition of the award-winning role-playing game brings together crews from across the franchise, including Strange New Worlds and Prodigy, to explore the galaxy like never before. Create original characters and live out their lives with a diversity of species and backgrounds from across the different polites of explored space. From Federation Starfleet officers to Klingon warriors, Romulan agents to Cardassian soldiers, and many more. I should say polities. I think that's how it's pronounced, polities. While Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition's core mechanics have been streamlined, they remain functionally and fundamentally the same as the first edition, just snappier and smoother to play. Combat, ship management, character creation, and complex task mechanics have all spent some time in dry dock and have been upgraded to the latest Starfleet protocols, refined, refreshed, and ready for your new explorations. Voyage into the unknown as the crew from any era, any fleet, and forge your characters' stories where weird is just part of the job and your service, sacrifice, and compassion will truly be tested. These are the voyages of your ship, your crew. Live it together. This features an updated and streamlined version of the 2D20 system rules designed for an authentic Star Trek experience. Keep in mind, it is still compatible with all first edition supplements and books. Be part of a crew from any Star Trek era, including Prodigy and Strange New Worlds. The 2nd edition core rulebook is expected to premiere at Gen Con in August 2024, with an additional starter set, which will launch in the fall, and much more to follow. Very nice, very nice. I have to assume that we'll see a premiere at Gen Con, but that will mean more than likely that we won't see the book hit stores until September. That's normally how we see role-playing game premieres at Gen Con. A lot of times, it's that case. So we shall find out. I will take a guess that I will have an opportunity to see this before it goes on sale. And that way, I will also kind of try to get a better feel as we're doing a first look at it for how much it's changed as opposed to the first edition. I had shared this news piece. In fact, I think it was yesterday I posted it because it was just announced yesterday. And I thought, oh, you know what? I'll go ahead. I'll, share this early because normally the news I share ends up popping up the next day on thegaminggang.com. But I shared this, and then someone, I think it was on Blue Skies, said, oh, great. I just bought a bundle of Star Trek Adventures First Edition stuff. It's like, well, they're saying it's all going to be compatible. So the second edition will be compatible. You don't have to worry about that. So it's not like, shit, now I got to go buy all new stuff. No, that's not going to be the case. So very nice. Very cool. Wild Hunter asks, does Star Trek Adventures have a military/chain of command feel, or is it more civilian-based? No, it's mostly focused on Starfleet. Now, there are other supplements out there. I have not seen every supplement for Star Trek Adventures. In fact, the reality is I haven't seen too many. So what I've got is the tricorder collector set, which has the pocket edition of the core rulebook. I reviewed the original core rulebook when it came out in PDF. That was back when I would actually do reviews of PDFs. And I also had an opportunity to take a peek into the Shackleton book, although I have not reviewed it yet. Tesco Love says, I hope Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition doesn't do the white text on the black pages again. I am right with you on that. I am 100% with you on that one. Yes, I get it. Yeah, when they first open it up, when the book first opens up and they're throwing some art out there and they're doing some flavor text and stuff like that, that's fine. That's okay. I don't mind it. I don't mind 10, 15 pages of that. But when we start actually getting into the book where everyone's going to read it, because I don't know about you, I tend to skip past a lot of the fiction in role-playing games. We need it to be black on white. We have to. There's no getting around it. And Matthew Constantine is with us. Says somehow, even after running a ton of Call of Cthulhu, they're pretty sure their player characters have only made it to Arkham once. The reality is, in all the years I have run Call of Cthulhu, I think maybe 2 sessions have taken place in Arkham, and it was simply because the player characters were tracking down information because they were in New York or Boston or something like that. Once was because it was Massive Nyarlathotep. Tessie Trekkie says the Klingon core rulebook has a much better arrangement of the rules and color palette. W. Ford says, does every new edition have to have revamped rules? Not always. But, funny enough, I think a lot of companies out there feel that if they don't play around with the mechanics, people won't buy a new edition. We can talk about that. Let me wrap up with my final news piece. Our Talsorian Games has released the 3rd volume of Interface Red for the Cyberpunk Red role-playing game. And I've got the skinny. Night City's voracious, Chumba. It needs more places, more people, more things. More, more, more. How do you like me? How do you like me? More, more, more. It's never satisfied, and we know you aren't either. Your campaigns can always use a little something extra to push it right over the edge. That's what Interface Red is all about. In this 3rd volume, you'll find a collection of short articles custom crafted to improve your Cyberpunk Red experience. We featured many of these articles on our website as free downloadable content for you to add to your data storage device of choice. But this is the first time we've collected them into a single book. Plus, we've thrown in a new exclusive article. The time has come to shed your meat and go full chrome. Volume 3 of the Interface Red adds the following new content to your Cyberpunk Red game. Hardened mini-bosses. Mini-bosses get the hardened treatment to keep up with your bullet-dodging, explosive-chucking, head-shotting crew. Digital dating in the dark future. Go on a date in Night City and meet someone. A perfect way to add new NPCs to your game. Even edge runners get lonely sometimes. Woodchipper's Garage. Visit Santo Domingo, where the Nomad Fixer Woodchipper has got some serious firepower to sell you. Salvaging Night City. Why buy anything when there's plenty of good scrap just lying around the combat zones? It's a fun new downtime activity. Midnight with the Upload. You need to keep up with the latest net-running hardware, and you're just a flatline recording waiting to happen. The Upload will set you up right. Must-have cyberware deals. Head on down to Dock 13 in sunny South Night City, where Mr. Amaze has all the cyberware you need to improve your life. Collecting the Random. A pristine data dump of ideas and inspiration from the Cyberpunk Red crew to download directly to your brain. Keep your game fresh. Elflines Online, the trading card game. Play the hottest trading card game in Night City and earn exclusive in-game rewards in ELO, like digital gold and digital pets. And I have to laugh. Cyberpunk Red has an online MMO in the pen and paper role-playing game. It's called Elflines. Spinning your wheels. Take to the streets on your bike, skates, or skateboard and shred your way through Night City. There's also the 12 Days of Cybermass, the notorious netrunner SANTA, otherwise known as Santa, has leaked 12 favorite pieces of cyberware from Cyberpunk 2020 to all the techs of Night City. Lastly, there's Going Metal. Johnny Silverhand's #1 fan, Samantha, introduces you to the world of full-body conversions. Time to go full Borg. This 111-page softcover is available now as a print-on-demand from DriveThruRPG for $20, or you can grab just the PDF alone for $10. I had to say, this was interesting with this third volume of Interface Red, because you might recall there was a humble bundle that was featuring Cyberpunk Red that we had talked about. I had shared the news piece, told everybody if you've ever been interested in checking out Cyberpunk Red, it was a perfect opportunity to get practically everything available for the game for like $18. And this was available exclusively through that humble bundle. So you could not get this anywhere else but through that humble bundle until now. So it is out. Sweet. I like Cyberpunk Red. I got to say, Cyberpunk Red probably has as many cool ideas per page as any other role-playing, as the best role-playing games, in my opinion, out there. It is just jam-packed with just cool stuff. Now, sometimes it's just not laid out and presented as well as it could be, right? Or as nicely as I would have liked. But all in all, really, really well done as far as a tabletop role-playing game. If you're interested in any sort of cyberpunk, this pretty much is your go-to. Maybe Cities Without Number, but I've never taken a look at Cities Without Number. I can seriously recommend Cyberpunk Red, though. All right, that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about DriveThruRPG. Don't forget, the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit DriveThruRPG to say pick up, I don't know, the Arkham source book for Call of Cthulhu, stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. You can click on the Arkham one if you'd like. Take you right to the page. And of course, if you happen to make a purchase, I get 5% of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always swing on over to paypal.me/thegaminggang to make a small donation. Hell, you can buy me a 2-liter bottle of soda. Ooh, that hits the spot. And thankfully, there are quite a few of you out there who use the banner ads over at the website and or visit paypal.me/thegaminggang to make donations. And there are some of you out there. Yeah, I'm looking at you, the madman. I see you're in chat with us who don't make small donations. They make nice-sized donations. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone. Sweet. So let's see. Some discussion about Champions. Champions went through 5 editions before they started messing around with the rules with the 6th. And W. Forge says that's what probably killed his popularity. Well, we've talked about Castles and Crusades. They go through print runs. Still the same game. In fact, you may have missed it, but I interviewed Stephen and Davis Chenault, and we talked about some new Gary Gygax books that are returning to print, going to hit Kickstarter. And we also discussed some other things. And keep in mind, you can still get the Player's Handbook and Monsters and Treasures. Now, they're not the current print runs, but it's the same book, absolutely free. So the reality is you can get the 2 books you need to run Castles and Crusades without spending a dime. And they don't change the mechanics with new editions. So. W. Ford says, anyone remember the saying, an adventure of a lifetime of adventure, is how it related to role-playing games? I don't remember that off the top of my head. Tessie Trekkie says they can't praise the GM tools in Cities Without Number enough. Kevin Crawford does great GM tools in all of his games. W. Forge points out, Cyberpunk Red is an improvement over Cyberpunk 3rd Edition with its action figures posing artwork. Gotta say, I did not really have an opportunity to look much into Cyberpunk previously. I think I peaked at Cyberpunk 2020 way back in the day, and that was about it. All right. The dispatch will continue in just a few moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
Candy is delicious food, eat some every day. Oh, we ride in the rodeo, roping steers and busting broncos, and we haven't had a bite to eat since dawn. We are hungry and we're dragging, but here comes the old chuck wagon with the fiddles that we long for. Bring her on!
Now I'm the U.S. Marshal. To soft drinks I am partial.
And if popcorn's good,
my gosh, I say it be. We like 'em, lick 'em, ice cream, and this ice cream, very nice cream.
You buy 'em, and you try 'em, and you see. Now it's time for intermission, so let's all hit the trail and gather round the sweet bar where these goodies are on sale.
On sunny Sunday afternoons we play the songs of old. We love to play for Valentine, the ale with brewer's gold.
It's got that big taste, big ale taste. Oh, that Valentine. Ale with brewer's
Gold, the flavor hops they use in Valentine.
Brewer's Gold, the rare strain of flavor hops. That's the extra something in Valentine ale that no other drink can offer. It's the ale with the big, big taste. So if you enjoy good living, good eating, you'll enjoy Valentine ale with Brewer's Gold.
Enjoy that big ale taste. Oh, that's Valentine.
It's the genuine
Ale with Brewer's Gold.
Let's stop and make a pot of Wilkins coffee.
Keep going. I don't like coffee.
It happened that way, moving west.
The Navy frogmen go into action. Beneath enemy ships, Navy frogmen work swiftly and secretly until... Look how real these miniature Navy frogmen are. The Torchman, the deadly demolitions expert, and the daring obstacle scout. These miniature Navy frogmen swim, dive, and surface by themselves, and they can be yours now. Look, here's where your free supply of high-pressure propellant goes. Ordinary baking powder will work, too. Now, here's how to get your set of 3 plastic Navy frogmen. For each set of 3, send 1 box top from Kellogg's Sugar Frosted Flakes and only 25 cents, or send 1 box top from Kellogg's Sugar Corn Pops and 25 cents. Use the handy order blank on the packages of Kellogg's Sugar Frosted Flakes or Sugar Corn Pops, or mail direct to Navy Frogmen, Box 350, Battle Creek, Michigan. Hurry!
So, didn't an exploding ship get us into the Spanish-American War? Remember the Maine? But it's okay for us to go blow up other ships with Navy frogmen? Placing mines? Really limpid mines? I see how it goes. Sweet. Alrighty. Anyway, Matthew Constantine said, is the acid kicking in? Nope. Old ads. Kevin R. Smith said, oh no, it's a gazebo. And the madman said, that explosion was so realistic. It wasn't too bad. It was all right. Matthew also says, with those weird feet, they look like they were designed by Todd McFarlane. It's actually where the baking powder resides so that they can bob up and down. Because I remember having those kind of things when I was a little kid. You'd get those in cereal boxes all the time. They had subs and all different kind of stuff that you would put baking powder in. It was never baking soda. It was baking powder. And to be honest, I do not know what the difference is. So I know there is some difference, but I can't tell you at the top of my head what it might be. Alrighty, so I've got a few things to chat about tonight. I think first of all, I will mention that I am in the midst of Warhammer Roleplay Week here on the channel. So each day I'm sharing a first look video for either Warhammer Age of Sigmar Soulbound or Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Yes. So as an example, one of the books I've already taken a peek at is Shadows in the Mist for Age of Sigmar Soulbound. This is the first campaign for Soulbound. Looked pretty interesting. So I peeked on through that. Earlier today, I shared the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Lustria book right behind me. Oh, remember, I mentioned I have a plush owlbear. Of course, as I knock the Displacer Beast over. So here's the Displacer Beast that has a mouse in its teeth. Yes, I don't want the Fiend Folio taking a tumble there. So here is the owlbear, and it is from Kid Robot. That's the company. I got both of these at San Diego Comic-Con from the Kid Robot exhibit area. If I remember right, I think they were 20 each. And I thought, yeah, I'll pick those up. Elliot I think he got the Displacer Beast. I also have the Displacer Beast as a keychain, which is about this big, although I haven't taken it out of the box. So yes, that is the little owlbear that I have got. Sweet. So anyway, yes, Warhammer Roleplay Week is in force already. Tomorrow, I will have a new video, probably around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning is when I'll pop that on up. There have been a lot of videos on the channel. There have been a lot of videos, some days too. I think there's been a video at least every day for a couple of weeks now. Kind of wild. Travis Williams and Kevin King are with us in chat. Wild Hunter asks if I have any thoughts on the Gary Gygax homage, the Tomb of Gygax. Strangely enough, Luke Gygax was supposed to take part in that interview last Friday and then backed out at the last minute because I was going to ask about it. I am going to share a news piece for it. Not tomorrow. It'll be on Thursday's show. A lot of times with Kickstarters, I like to see how they go for a couple of days because that way, when I post a news piece, I can title them things like, Tomb of Gygax passes 500% Kickstarter funding mark or, things like that, as opposed to sharing a news piece on the day that it comes out on Kickstarter like everybody else does. And the articles are all exactly or nearly exactly the same. Nah. The Madman says, okay, so I have to find those stuffed animals. My son moved out a couple of months ago and I'm using his room as a small office game room. Once again, the company is called Kid Robot. Wild Hunter says, owlbears were great in the D&D movie. Kevin King says, probably need to buy the original Castle Zagyig before going for the homage. I don't think so, to be honest. Because I think the Tomb of Gygax is a standalone adventure, and it is through Gaxworks, which is Luke Gygax's company. It is not through Castles and Crusades. And I also think that it's actually a 5e. I haven't looked into a lot of the details. I got an email about it, and I was like, okay, well, I got an email like a week before it launched. So it's something else with Kickstarters I don't tend to do. Just like with news pieces, like as an example, Free League Publishing has a new Coriolis game that's going to be coming out. I think that's going to go to Kickstarter. And then there was another news piece. There's a few news pieces that I have not shared. One of them being April is going to bring the new edition of Pendragon and a Pendragon campaign adventure. I think it's the Grey Knight, something like that. I haven't shared news about it because that's it. That's the news. There is absolutely no information about it. No sell sheet info, no page count, no MSRP, nothing. So why would I share a news piece about it? Trust me, I'm excited. But to me, it's silly to be like, the dice breakers out there who it's like, oh, well, it's going to probably bring in a few clicks. Oh, boy. No, I'm not here to waste your time. When I share a news piece, it's news. So I want you to find something out from it. Bjorn is with us. Hi, Bjorn. Have I done a review of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay or Soulbound? Yes, we have reviews of both. Sammy reviewed Soulbound, so those are written reviews. So those are available over at thegaminggang.com. In fact, she is going to get her hands on the PDFs for all of the Soulbound stuff that I've received, so we can get some reviews of those. And I handle Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. So I have one other book we'll be taking a look at during Warhammer Roleplay Week for WIFRIP, and that will be the Archives of the Empire Volume 3. That'll probably be Saturday. That'll probably be the last video that I share, either Friday or Saturday. And then I will have a review of Up in Arms, Winds of Magic, Sea of Claws, and Lustria. Because I wasn't doing reviews of Cubicle 7 Entertainment stuff because things had fallen off a cliff with them. So I really didn't know what was going on. And I talked to my buddy T.S. Luckhart and everything. Yeah, we've hashed through this a few times on the show about the marketing person that Cubicle 7 had. And everything was supposed to be getting cleared up and things like that. And I got Imperium Maledictum for the new Warhammer 40K role-playing game from Cubicle 7. But then there was other stuff I didn't get. But now they got a new marketing person. And as you saw, they sent me a ton of stuff. So that is why I'm doing a Warhammer Roleplay Week. I will also have, in the not-too-distant future, probably in March, a Doctor Who, the role-playing game week. Yes, because, well, we'll also have some Doctors and Daleks, because I believe I'm getting the Doctors and Daleks core book also. Matthew Constantine says, pretty sure Johnny Fever would be a troll slayer. Oh, a little WKRP. So the Madman says, they can't help but see WKRP instead of WIFRIP. Coco B is with us. So I finally got the approval for the press pass for Gen Con. So you may have recalled last week, there was, a bit of a panic with people in the press because we hadn't been approved for our press passes, and the housing portal was going to open up on Sunday to book the rooms. I was like, okay, well, we can't book a room and get a discount through the portal if we don't have a badge. So on Friday night, I was talking to Elliot because you had to have your badge by Friday at midnight, Saturday at midnight, whatever you want to consider it. And you had to have your badge by, I think it was 11:59 Friday night. And if you got it after that, before the portal opened, you were going to go to the end of the queue. So I was talking to Ellie and I said, okay, I'm going to bet you this is what's going to happen. I said, I bet you we are going to get approved for our press passes tomorrow when it's already past the deadline. And then they're going to toss us into the end of the queue for the housing portal. And as I had mentioned before, if you got any time between noon and 1:30, you're in pretty good shape. You should be able to get something decent, probably even downtown. And of course, exactly what I predicted would happen, happened. So on Saturday, we got approved for our press passes and got 4:58 as our portal time. But thankfully, before that, I had booked a room. I had booked a room for us, not downtown, because I couldn't really get anything downtown. And I wasn't going to pay like $1,500 to stay just off of downtown. So I was like, okay. So anyway, of course, I had been emailing the Madman because the Madman's going to be attending Gen Con. Hopefully, we're going to have an opportunity to hang out with the Madman, maybe have an adult beverage or two. And he had purchased a pass, 4-day pass, I believe, for Gen Con. And he got 4 something as far as his hotel portal time. So thankfully, he went and booked. There you go. So Madman's pointing out it was 4:04. Everything was booked up. So everything was sold out. Yes. So when I got in there, it also showed everything was sold out. Didn't give me an option to look at anything. And the reality is they should have just had it pop up. And when you went into the housing portal, it should have just popped up and said, the rooms are sold out. Once the rooms were all sold out, it should have done that, but it didn't. So I'm sure there were a lot of people who were sitting there waiting, watching the time tick down to get into the housing portal. I had it open. I was busy working on other stuff, but I did have it open, so I wasn't, going to miss it. I don't know. Kevin R. Smith says, from what they heard, there were slim pickings when the general lottery opened. Apparently, vendors and VIPs got many of the good rooms early. So, yes, so the exhibitors were able to book on Saturday. And I guess the VIPs as well got to book on Saturday. Now, one of the things I think may have been an issue is I don't think the exhibitors have a limit of how many rooms they can book. Because remember, there are a lot of exhibitors out there who bring in volunteers. And one of the things that they use to incentivize those volunteers to actually help them out is to give them a room. Now, usually they share a room with like 3 other people, but still. So Kevin R. Smith says, oh, you mean all the Gen Con block rooms were sold out? Yes. They were all gone. We're not talking downtown. We're talking every place. Everything that was on the list was gone. So the Madman says they booked a room outside of the block as a precaution, and they could cancel up to July 30th. Me too. Same exact thing. I went through booking.com on Saturday, looked around for something halfway decent that actually was in an area that would have restaurants and stuff like that. And there's actually quite a few places for us we could even walk over to if we want. So it's just a La Quinta. But Elliot didn't want to spend a whole lot of money. So, I mean, it's still running us like $300 each, but Matthew Constantine says, I think I'll probably avoid Gen Con. I'm already a little iffy about cons. Gen Con sounds like chaos. It's not. It's really not. So, yes, Roll for Combat. Stephen is with us, says they got their press pass on Saturday. Yep, that's what we've been talking about. So, Stephen, what time did you get your time availability for the housing portal? So Stephen says they got an apartment for dirt cheap just a few blocks away. Not sure how they did that. I have thought about doing that. Somebody was renting a 4-bedroom house. They wanted $1,500. But I'm kind of like, Matthew Constantine says, La Quinta, isn't that Spanish for next to Denny's? Huh, I don't need to worry about Denny's because we get a free breakfast. It's also something else that Elliot likes. Always look when we're booking rooms to see who's got a free hot breakfast. Wow, so Stephen had one at 136. Nice. Are you exhibiting? Is that how you got that? And then one at 440. Yeah, that was when we got it. But yes, I had considered booking through booking.com. There were a couple that were houses. But the thing is, I have parked near the Lucas Oil Stadium, and I have seen some houses there that look like they are about ready to be torn down. So I was a little concerned. I was like, So anyway, so Steven says, no, it was just luck, and there was still nothing left. Wow. At 136, were there no rooms, period? Or was it just no rooms downtown? Flaming Heron says, free breakfast. By the way, Flaming Heron's with us. Another of our chat moderators. Is it good food, though? Actually, I have stayed at some places that their breakfasts have been really good. In fact, the place I stayed at last year for Gen Con, which was south of Indy, it was about 10 minutes on the highway, and it was right by the highway. So I actually was taking a Lyft back and forth because I figured, well, it's a few extra bucks, but I ended up paying maybe $10, well, with tip, probably about $20 more than I would have if I had paid to park. But I went back and forth a couple of times. So after the exhibit hall closed, I went back to the room, showered up, changed clothes, kind of kicked back, relaxed, enjoyed an adult beverage. And then I would take Lyft back over to the area around the convention center. And I would, meet up with some folks, or there were a couple of parties last year that I went to on different nights. So that was kind of cool. Manman says, good free breakfasts are hit and miss. They've had good, and they've had others where it was better off skipping it. Yeah, I've had that too. So the place last year, I would have booked again, but they wanted like $890. And I was like, what? I was like, no way. I mean, it was sort of like, that was like 200 and some bucks more than I had paid last year for the room. And I'm like, no, I can save a couple of $100. So anyway, I wasn't all that pissed off. The thing that I was concerned about was not having been approved for the press pass yet. That's what kind of irritated me. And I didn't receive any word back on a couple of emails I had sent, which I had never had happen. I mean, I've reached out to Stasia Kirby in the past, and usually she gets back to me within a day, sometimes faster than that. So I was like, what the hell's going on here? But I wasn't like pissed off. It was like, oh, look at the crap time I got for the housing portal, because you know what? That usually happens. Only once did I actually have a good time. It was like 12:30. I've talked about it before, and that's when I grabbed the Crown Plaza across the street. Every other time, it's always after 3 o'clock. So that's one of the reasons why I usually book a room through booking.com before that portal opens up. And the funny thing is, I went and took a look on Sunday night, and where I had booked No rooms left. So it was like, wow. And there are some really sketchy motels in that in the Indianapolis area. I stayed at one time and I was like, I don't usually worry about my safety. This place, I was like, okay. So Steven says there were no good rooms left. But that's cool. You got a house. So that's pretty sweet. Like I said, I had considered that, but I didn't have anybody else outside of Elliot. And I knew Elliot wasn't going to want to spend $750 for, to rent a house. But I had thought of that. I had considered that. Anyway, so that's what was cooking as far as the Gen Con housing, ordeal, I'll say. So there you go. Anywho, a couple other things I did want to mention is, first of all, starting Friday, March 1st, it is going to be March Review Madness at the Gaming Gang channel because, well, I guess I shouldn't say channel. It'll be the Gaming Gang because Sammy has some written reviews that I'm going to be sharing as well. But every day throughout the month of March, knock on wood, there will be a brand new review over at thegaminggang.com. It'll either be a video that I have shot or it will be a written review from Sammy. So stay tuned for that. Also, beginning on Friday, I am going to have a 64 game bracket set up. I'm almost done with it. So you will be able to determine what will be the next tabletop role-playing game I use for a campaign. Yes. And I am going to try to do it in person. If not, then I will actually do it by virtual tabletop. I will probably use Foundry, 99% likely to be using Foundry. So there will be 64 games. You will be able to vote. So it's going to be single elimination. It's going to be just like March Madness. So we will go from 64 games to 32 games to 16 games to 8 games to 4 games to 2 games to 1 game. And that will be the tabletop role-playing game I will run. So yes, it is a bracket. It is a bracket, and you'll be able to vote. So that's the big deal. Your vote counts. So this isn't like, oh, well, you're picking a bracket. No, you're going to vote. So I will have 2 links for you to visit. And you'll be able to, because I'm not paying $200 so I could run a bracket for voting. So I did find a website that will allow me to do 32. So I've got 2 divisions. I've got 2 divisions of 32 games. They are going to battle it out until one from each division remains, and then that will be the finals. You'll be able to vote. So the first round will be about a week, and then it'll go to about 6 days, 5 days, 4 days. I think the shortest is about, I think it's 3 days. I think for the finals, I've got it set up for 3 days. So let's see. Kevin R. Smith says they've had 1 episode of freezing all stream. I seem to usually get the worst of it. Are we dropping some frames here? Oh, yeah, we are. Yuck. I know, it could be a weather thing, folks. As I mentioned before, we had some issues. That's why it was late getting started tonight was because we had a tornado warning going on. We had our sirens going on in the area twice. So I wasn't going to come down here and start doing the show with the sirens going. So everybody says the stream is very laggy. All right, let's see something here. I'm getting ready to wrap up anyway. I think also part of it could be because of the server, because there's effectively 2 servers you can stream to on YouTube. That's it. Just 2. Yeah, we're showing about 12% of the frames dropped. And it's jumping all over the place. So real quick, I'm just going to go take a peek. I'm going to do a lost packet test. Because this is usually an indicator of if it's my connection that's causing the problem or if it's YouTube's the server, their streaming server. Might be us. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I guess it is us. It's not terrible. It's not where it should be 10% of our frames dropping. Yeah, our packets are, looks like the packets are dropping at about 0.5%, which you should never have any. You should have no dropped packets. All right, anyway, sorry about that, gang. I will probably look to swap back over to the other streaming server. So something else to keep in mind too is sometimes it's a combination of both. But yeah, it looks like this is kind of jumping all over the place. It looks like we're going to like almost 20,000 kilobits per second, 0. 20,000, 0. 20,000, 0. So do not know. What I'll end up doing too is I will reboot my router before tomorrow. All righty. So stay tuned. I will have links to the bracket of 64. Well, it's 232 game brackets. So Wild Hunter says, remember episode 1000? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, voice is fine, video not so much. Yeah, that's usually what happens, is you'll still get the audio just fine, and it's all like stop motion. Anyway, so stay tuned. I will share that link probably, I don't know, Thursday, probably Thursday afternoon. So people will be able to vote early if they want to. All right. That is it for this time out. If you happen to like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ring that bell. It will not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube. I'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my first look at the Dragonbane Bestiary from Free League Publishing. Yes, a lot of people excited about this one. It is now out, and I will have a review of this soon enough as well. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit gaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you're not going to find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. If you were watching live, thank you very much. If you watched live and took part in chat, a bigger thank you, because not only are you keeping me company, you're keeping each other company. But I know a lot of people out there, they don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very much for taking time out to watch any of the videos here on the channel. Everybody enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. I'll be back tomorrow, and I hope you always get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.